Welcome back, Rainmakers, to the Crypto Rain channel. I am your host, Jay Murph, and today we're going to be talking about what in the world is going on with the crypto market and what is going on with stocks and how do those two relate? Are they completely correlated or what is the situation? We're also going to be talking about a topic that I frequently think about. What are some of the best ways to get the very best returns during a bull market? That is, if we're still in a bull market, are we? We'll talk about it. So the third thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about a specific project that's working on solving some problems, and it's still in the incubation stage with one of my favorite Launchpads, Duck Dao, and we will talk about that project. So before we get any further into this, let's go ahead and get the party started. Join me, Rainmakers. All right. So how is the market cycle doing and where are we in the market cycle? So this is the psychology of a market cycle. And what's funny is we as human beings actually act on our emotions way more than we realize. And one of the reasons that technical analysis even works is because as human beings we fall in patterns. And what often happens is when things are booming, they overboom. And when they're busting, they overbust. And that has so much to do with human emotions. And the better at investing we become, we learn to keep those emotions in check so that we buy when most people are running away from the market. And we sell when most people are flooding into the market. And that helps us do better. So my mentor in real estate, who was worth over $100 million, used to say, well, it's simple in real estate. I just find out what 95% of people are doing, and I do the opposite. And it's funny how it's not different in crypto. Now, during what we call crypto winter, and this was the long bear market from 2018, all the way through about 9 months ago, everything was slow, and a lot of people, even that had been in crypto in 2017, left the market, like 95% of them. And 5% of us were still here learning and growing and investing away like crazy because we knew we were on to something and we didn't care that 95% had left. We knew we were in the right place because we know what goes down also later goes up and that this technology would change the world. And so this is right here, if you can see on the screen my mouse, this is what we call crypto winter or just a bear market. It then leads into this. So where are we now? Are we at euphoria right at the end before it crashes? Some people think yes. If you look at Bitcoin, they're scared. They're like, oh my gosh, it dropped. It was all the way at 58,000 and it came all the way down to 43,000. Oh my gosh, that is the end of the market. Now, most of the people saying that are new and this is their first experience going through these kind of things. So we'll cut them a little slack because they don't know that this is normal even in a bull market. Now, I get it. There are some definite concerns about how the real estate bubble has been inflating and inflating and inflating. The stock bubble has been inflating and inflating and inflating for numbers of years, both of those. And what's keeping it propped up is many of the governments around the world continue printing their currency at crazy rates, as well as the interest rates from the federal banks or the national banks have been at such low numbers that has continued to prop up the stock markets of the different countries and the economies of the different countries. And so the big question is, if the stock market crashes and the real estate market crashes, will that bring cryptos down with it? In other words, are the two correlated, or the three? But I'll put stocks and real estate here, and I'll put Bitcoin and cryptocurrency here. So the question is, what is the correlation like? And we found out on what I call Black Tuesday of March of last year, when the stock markets crashed due to coronavirus fears and the shutdown of the economy. And guess what? Crypto did follow that. And what happened is your institutional investors that held some Bitcoin, their balance sheets on the stock side were looking terrible. So they actually sold their Bitcoin to float their balance sheets, which was a surprise. I did not realize that would happen, and yet it did. And so my guess is that at least at first there will be some correlation. Now, how long that will continue, I don't know. It depends on how savvy these investors are, especially at the institutional level. It's not that they're not savvy, but it has to do with how well they prepared their boards and their decision makers for continuing to hold on even if there's a short-term drop. Because like people like Michael Saylor get it, and they explain, just hold it. Even if there's a drop, don't freak out. Just know, just plan to hold this for 4, 8, 12, 50, 100 years. And just know that it will help balance out your portfolios. So if everybody on the institutional side was like Michael Saylor, it would be completely decoupled from a stock crash. However, is everybody as informed as Michael Saylor is? Unfortunately, no. So it seems like at first that there will be a ripple effect, if this happens, into cryptos, and it might lead to a sharp drop. But as others get it, I think then they'll start to see a decoupling and Bitcoin rising, and a bunch of people might even sell off some of those other assets that are crashing and roll it into crypto. Now, that's my best guess. I don't know exactly what will happen, and nobody knows exactly what will happen. That's just me watching things for a very long time, and I've always paid attention to economics. It was the class or the classes that I completely aced in business school. So I like to think I'm good at economics, but who knows? I mean, I'm sure there are people much better than me. That's my thoughts as a crypto investor and a real estate investor for 20 years. So let's get on to the next thing. Let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. So really, we have been on a massive run, and what we're looking at is still a parabolic run. And I know my drawing is terrible. It's always going to be, but just is what it is. So breaking below this level, to this level, not so much a concern. Now, if it continues to break down here, that will start to get concerning. We're not there yet. And what may happen is maybe if there's a panic sell in stocks or something else, and at first Bitcoin isn't decoupled, we might even see some numbers, and we'll just have to see how it plays out from there. Normally, we should be seeing some very good returns, because back to this chart, do you know where I think we are? We're somewhere between optimism and belief. I think we're halfway through this bull market. Now, the bull markets go fairly short, and the bear markets last much longer. But the rises are completely dramatic. And if you're just joining now in the crypto market, that's okay. You're still at a decent time. Yes, you did miss out some fantastic runs from the last 9 months starting in last July. Just is what it is. At least you're here before, say, October or November or December, which might be right near the euphoria phase or maybe after the euphoria phase. We don't know exactly how this market will go. Now, what we know is every cycle is different. They do not repeat exactly, but they do rhyme. And so we often look back to make our best guesses based on what happened in the past. And in fact, if we look at this, we talk about past, this was our last bull market. And it hit these incredible numbers that so many people thought would never be possible, hitting almost 20,000 from being down here at like the 3,000 level and even below before them at $1,100. So it went 20x from even that point. So from December 2016 at under $1,000, it went over 20x in 1 year from there, peaking out right in December of 2017. So, if you do notice that this chart doesn't have it, the bull run prior to this peaked out right around the same time. If I remember right, it was in November. So we don't know exactly when Bitcoin will peak out this time. We can look and see where was it in 2020, right about that time. Okay, it was, let's say 7,000. So where's 20 plus X from 7,000? Okay, so it might go over 140, 150,000. Now there's a chance with all the institutional buying that we might even hit much bigger numbers from there. So where are we now versus that? Well, we're not even quite a third. We're about a third the way there. So where do I think we are on this cycle? Right about halfway up the cycle. That doesn't mean the price rises exactly like this. Sometimes it goes even much higher. But we're somewhere between optimism and belief if I had to make my best guess. So that part is great news. Where's Bitcoin dominance? Well, let's go back to this chart I refer to all the time. I keep expecting Bitcoin to make a run. As Bitcoin goes up, its dominance versus the altcoins goes up on this chart. So this chart really just tracks how is Bitcoin's price or market cap compared to the market cap of all the other altcoins. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin take a run, and that will take some of the gas out of a lot of the altcoins if that happens. And then that will be followed by a lot of that momentum rolling into the altcoins, and you would see a steep decline in this. Now, will that happen? Not necessarily. That's just what the chart is suggesting will happen, but we could even see something like this, where the alts just take off, and even though Bitcoin might increase in price relative to how much the altcoins take off, it wouldn't be very much. And so I expect in this run not only Bitcoin to increase and maybe go 3 or 4 or 5 or 6x from where it's at, but I'm expecting many of the altcoins to go 10, some of them 20, some of them 30x, and some of them higher than that. So I always ask the question myself, okay, where do I think this possibly could go during that run? And where are some of the places that I can put just a small percentage of my portfolio to try to get those best gains? And so with that question, my mind often goes to, well, Launchpads are launching some projects, some of the best up-and-coming projects, and they're helping them get the early stages nailed so that they don't make mistakes in the early stages and cripple their own success. And so one of the best Launchpads out there, one that I absolutely love, is Duck Dao, and I talk about them frequently. And so here's some of their latest incubation projects. And one I wanted to talk about is KeyTangle and what they're all about. So if you do join Duck Starter, now this isn't for residents of certain countries, including the US, and you do have to get KYC'd, but you can join Duck Starter and you can register for the whitelist. Now you have to hold a certain amount of their Duck tokens to be eligible, and the more that you have, up to 20,000, it just gets you the ability to possibly purchase a bigger allocation. Now, like many of the things, they have a lot more people interested than they have allocation available. So even if you have whitelisted, when the timer dings 0, it's kind of a race to hurry up and get your transaction in, because in some cases only half of them can even be accepted. And they call it a gas war because you have to increase your Ethereum gas fee, because currently these are still run on Ethereum. And so, you know, if you're able to do it, you can get some phenomenal returns. One of the recent projects they did, Shadows, which is a fantastic one, definitely one to watch. It is retracing a little bit, and I am waiting for some great entries to pick up some Shadows myself. Unfortunately, I lost the gas war, and I wasn't quick enough on the draw, and so my allocation I wasn't able to get it filled, because unfortunately, that went 30x from the Duck Starter price. All right, so let's talk about KeyTangle and a problem that they solve. So one of the hardest things for new people in crypto is wrapping their mind around everything that's going on. And if you're new to crypto, this is probably very present in your mind. And what's funny is those of us who have years of experience in this, it changes so much. It is hard to keep current on everything because even for us, it changes so much. So I can even imagine what you're feeling when you're brand new. And you hear a lot of people talk about DeFi, and they talk about Yearn Finance and other things and all these different DeFi things, and then you got to take Ethereum and then you got to buy some of these tokens, and you have to deposit an equal amount to get liquidity pool tokens, and then you have to stake those liquidity pool tokens for farming, and it is just confusing as can be, right? So KeyTango is providing some solutions to this, and we don't know exactly how this is going to look. Now, there is a project out there along the lines of that that's trying to simplify it, and it is Yearn Finance. However, if you come to Yearn Finance and you're new and you're trying to figure this out, good luck. This won't make any sense to you at all, because really this isn't for beginners, and it actually takes a lot of work for experienced people to figure out what is going on here. And so KeyTango is working to offer an easier, simpler solution than that. So if you come to KeyTango.io, that is their website. According to them, they are the easiest way to get started with DeFi. In other words, the Robinhood of DeFi, without stopping your trades on GameStop. I wanted to add that in. So you can put in your email here and click on Get Beta, and that will send them your email to let them know you're interested in the beta. And we're going to look at the executive summary and the tokenomics. All right, so here is a little bit behind their vesting schedule and the tokens. You can get that right from the website. But the total amount of funds raised is pretty small. If you were to add this up, it's in the like 3 million range. And so do you see like a 3 million market cap based on what prices people are paying during this? Now, when it actually launches on, say, Uniswap, you'll see it get bid up really fast. And maybe it gets bid up to 30 million market cap or 40 million market cap, or 60 million market cap, and then usually retraces, because you usually have an initial bump that takes off, and then many of the initial pre-sale investors and private sale investors and other things might cash out all their tokens, or they might cash out some of them, and it'll bring the price back down to reality. And when those market caps hit lower numbers, say 20 million, see, it's a lot easier to go to 100x return on something that's market cap is, say, at 20 million, because 100x from there would take it to a market cap of 2 billion and still be at 100x. If it happens to really do well and go to 20 billion market cap, then you made 1,000x gains. So it's these kind of projects, especially the ones that really, as the price is coming back down to reality after initially launching and taking off, sometimes it makes some really good entries. Now, one of my favorite projects, and I talk about them all the time, is Orion Protocol. And if we look at their charts, you will see that they took off and then there was some retracement, right? So this was their initial bump coming out of the DEX, and then it took off, and then there was this period, and that provided some really good entries, right? So then you actually see this nice W here with a little bit of retracement, and then it absolutely has been going parabolic. But imagine if you had bought it here for $1.47. And so its market cap, it's gone 10x from there. So its market cap was about 35 million at the time. And so isn't that really what you're looking for? Not for all of your portfolio, because who knows if it'll turn out and do things like this. You don't. You make your best guess. And if you throw all of your eggs in one basket, well, that could work out, and it could also work out very bad. So most of us investors that have been doing this for a while, we allocate just a portion of our portfolio into these projects, often around the realm of 1 or 2%. I guess if you feel something, if I feel really strongly about something, it might be 5%, and in rare cases, like 10%. So here's a little bit more about the project and some of their people behind it. The MIT background on several of their people. You can see here on Guy, Can, MIT background, Dan, now MIT, such a prestigious school, and they work very, very hard. I have a family member that went to MIT, and he is just genius level, and that's where a lot of your mathematical and engineering geniuses go. All right, so this is a great place for you to check out, read up more on it. I like a lot about the problem they're trying to solve. So take a look, see if it's something you're interested in. Also, I would look strongly at the different Launchpads, including Duck Dao. And especially if you're not in the US and you're in some of these countries that you can get whitelisted, they're a great way for you to make some great returns. Although just be prepared for the pain that it is. It is a pain on gas wars and just whitelisting, and sometimes you get a lucky draw and you're in, and sometimes you don't. Just be prepared for that. A lot of times you only get these smaller allocations of $200 or $300 or $400 because they're trying to give as many people allocations as possible, and yet there's still more demand than there is allocations. It's just part of the process. So just understand that, and though it can be frustrating, if you get a $200 allocation and it's on a project that goes 30x from there, well, then that $200 turned into $6,000 for you. And so it's great. And even if you tried to get into 4 and you got into one of those, it's a great way to turn it into that. And then maybe you harvest some gains. Maybe you don't if you like the project better. If you do even like it, you might harvest some of the gains and then let some of it ride through much of the bull market, right? Because from there it usually has some kind of retracement. But if it gains some traction, the market cap can go absolutely gigantic from there. Now, if you don't want to go through those hassles, you're looking at the different incubator projects, including Duck Dao, and you're waiting for some of these to already be out there, and you're looking for good retracements on them. So Duck Dao in particular, these are some of their projects that they launched, and they have done phenomenal since launching. And these are some of the ones that are close to the end of the whole launch period. And so we don't know yet how these tokens will do, but if they follow what a lot of their past projects have done, they'll be phenomenal because the people at Duck Dao know how to do it right. All right, so want to thank each of you for your support. If you haven't already, would you like the videos? I'm getting about a 10% like percentage on my videos per view. And so if you can, press that like button. It really helps the channel grow, and I appreciate all of you supporting me. It's been a great and wild ride. Because of all your support, I've been dedicating more time to this channel, and more time, and then more time. Thanks to all of you, and as you continue to support me, then I'll allocate more time to this. Now, I am just a crypto investor myself. I don't know everything in the world. I try to be straight up with how I understand things, how I see things. Just realize it's my opinion. It's not financial advice, and I'm definitely not a financial advisor. I just try to shoot it to you straight as I see it. Now, I do get things wrong sometimes because there's sometimes information that I haven't factored into the equation. And so I've had actually some very good discussions. Some people have added some extra information, which sometimes changes my decisions on things. And sometimes that was information I was already aware of, and so it didn't change my decision. But if you have great negative comments to leave them, if they're actually negative, don't leave negative stuff. I won't even respond to you. If you have great arguments why something I said is incomplete, I would love to hear that. Now, a few people have reached out to me and shared some things with me that did help me understand certain things at a deeper level, and I appreciated that. And they were well thought out, well organized in their arguments, and I told them where I thought, no, I already know that, and I'm not changing my mind because I've already factored that in. And that nugget piece of information, that is golden. Thank you. I was not even aware of that. So I appreciate, you know who you are if you're watching this video. I appreciate your very thorough and detailed analysis, because part of that I did not know yet. And so you enlightened me so that I could give even better information to the audience. So I appreciate all of that. And leave the negativity. If you just have bad things to say, you can say it, but I'll probably just delete it. You know, this is an environment, my hope is to, I don't want everyone to come here. I just want people who are positive and especially intelligent and make intelligent arguments. And if there's lots of negativity, there's enough negativity in this world. I don't need that in my audience. And if that's you, I'm just not the right person for you. Maybe someone else is right for you, but I am not the right one for you to be spending your time watching. Second thing, there are lots of scams out there. I do highly suggest you invest in yourself by getting a YouTube subscription so that you pay like $10 US a month so that you don't have to see ads, nor do you have to get hit with the ads. And so the time that you do spend learning through YouTube, which YouTube is one of the better ways to keep up to date because crypto changes so fast, it's a good investment in yourself. I started paying that about 5 years ago, and I have not regretted it even one day. The $10 a month saves me all those ads. In fact, those ads drive me crazy. And as content creators, we have no way to choose who puts the ads on our channel. YouTube is supposed to screen those, and my understanding is they're not screening them very hard. Nothing I can do except recommending pay the $10 a month so you don't ever have to look at those. Now, I am continuing to grow the channel, not just in subscribers, but I'm figuring out some things. I'm new to the whole like video production stuff. I did invest in some really good equipment. It was painful to me. I sold off some crypto to buy some really top-notch equipment, and some of it I don't even fully know how to use yet, and I am learning, and I appreciate your patience as I'm growing, because as you support this, it's been worth my while to continue to grow the channel, invest more time to share with you what I think on the different projects. And so I want to thank each of you. And some of you have heard this exit song. This is one I had done. I'm writing the words to maybe have a different rap version done, trying to get it right. But this is to thank all my rainmakers out there, and I want to make an even better song for you.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.